Morning, everyone. Oh, there we go. How's it, man? What a wonderful start to the show, eh? How many of you have been coming to the show for the last 12 years? Couple of faces, eh? How many of you here were here last year? The year before? No, I know. Listen, I know you're an old hand. There's some people that come here for all the free stuff. You know the kind? That's why we recognize him. We've got his poster up at all the good food and wine shows. He's now a VIP hustler. Good to have you back again, sir. Ladies and gents, those of you that read the Sunday Times know exactly who I'm talking about. She is one of the doyens of Indian cookery in South Africa. Everyone loves her. Everyone loves reading about what she has to say about cooking. We've got Diwali just around the corner. And of course, for those of us that aren't that confident on stoves and things, she's going to be sharing some secrets. Now, with sweetmeats and that sort of thing, more often than not, it's the same sort of thing that you have, but it's what you do with the recipe, and it's what you do with the preparation that makes yours better than Auntie Ailey's down the road. So please put your hands together and welcome an old friend of ours at the Good Food and Wine Show, Asha Maharaj.
Thank you. Just give me a hand.
Yes, much like me and like the show, she's aged well. Hello, my love. How are you?
I'm
marvelous.
very well, thank you.
I'm marvelous. What are you going to be sharing with us today?
Well, you know, when you think of Diwali, you think of something sweet and savory, but I've chosen to do sweet stuff.
Now, Diwali is a festival of giving.
Yes, there should be no wanting, particularly in the home. You know, moms and dads go all out to please everybody in the family. And if you've got 6 children in the home and the 6 of them tell you that I want 6 different things, we make sure that we prepare those things. Because as I say, you know, they shouldn't be saying, I wish I had that, but I don't have it. It is a time of goodwill where you share with family and friends, but more than anything else, in your home, you make sure that your children have got, you know, everything that will make them happy.
Marvelous. I wish we had that. You guys are lucky. Ladies and gentlemen, let's all say good morning, Asha, together. You ready? 1, 2, 3.
Good morning. Thank you very much. Or should I say, in the typical Durban way, namaste. Welcome to my program. All right. You know that Diwali means sweetmeats in most Hindu homes. And I'm doing just that. And I've chosen to do an instant jalebi. Now, jalebi is a popular sweetmeat, but many people don't want to attempt it because you know, it's sometimes a laborious thing to do. Sometimes it's a tricky thing to do to get the right consistency of the batter and all of that. There are several ways of making it. One is a fermented batter just with flour and water for 7 days that you leave it, and it ferments over time, and then you add coloring to the batter, and you know, you pipe the coils into hot oil, remove it when it's crisp, and dunk it into syrup. That's the traditional, original way of doing it. As time went by, we found easier methods. Then we found a way of fermenting it quickly with some yeast. And then that still took time, like 24 hours or something. We started making it with tartaric acid, which does it almost instantly. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to, first of all, do my barfi. And the barfi I've chosen to do, and also you know that barfi is made in so many ways. It's the equivalent of the English fudge. And you make it with either whole milk cooked until it's nice and thick, and you flavor it with cardamom seeds and rose petals crushed. You can do it with all sorts of things, and until it's sort of semi-solid, you allow it to sit. Now, we don't spend so much time cooking up milk. Again, we've come to a stage in our life when everything is there, ready-made. You take it and you just stir it up. I'm doing an almond barfi, and I'm going to make it. And you know, you can also make it visually very effective by putting it into various types of molds, paper, cookie cups. However you want to present it to family, each household tries to outdo the other. you'll notice that every time someone sends a platter of sweetmeat, they want to compare which is better. How did somebody do theirs? What was the new trick they used to make it last longer or to look better? Okay, so there's no hidden secret. And if you think there was, then today it's no more secret. I'm going to tell you how it's done. You don't have to write recipes, but you can make mental notes of it. My recipe books are all available here. I'll tell you about it later. Okay, now I'm going to add a cup of milk. Where's the milk? Now we have everything measured out here. That's 1 cup of milk going into a nice non-stick pan. 2 cups of sugar. Also measured out. Normal granulated sugar that you use for your tea and your coffee, just add that in. And always remember when you're making sweetmeats that partly dissolve the sugar before you bring it to a boil. Now you find, I don't know how many of you have ever had that experience. You might have seen sweetmeats that have white crystal on it. That's because the syrup was rushed. Which one are you putting that in? Okay. The syrup was cooked too quickly. It's got to start, put that very low, hey? Don't want it very hot. You can actually put this off. Put this off. Yep, thanks. Okay, I'm just going to swirl this around so the sugar starts to partly dissolve before it comes to a boil. If you boil it too quickly, it's going to crystallize. Turn it up high. Thank you. Okay, now I've got here a nice spoon from my non-stick pan and stir it. Once it starts boiling, I'm going to add the next item. Just a few items that goes into this almond barfi, but it's a very nice, delicate sweetmeat. The normal, usual barfi, you would use milk in the form of full cream milk powder, and that is simple. It's been going on for many, many generations now. But I thought you are so special, I will give you one with ground almonds. Where's the ground almonds? These are 3.5 cups. Okay, we have them all measured out here, 3.5 cups of ground almond or almond powder. Now this is readily available. You can use cashew nut powder, whatever suits you. But the almond here, this makes it nice and rich. It's a very delicate sweetmeat. Now I am going to put it into this mold, but usually what you can do is once you've cooked it up, take little amounts that you can handle. It's hot, it's cool enough to handle. Make it into little squares like pillows, and take saffron with milk and make a dot on it. And then set it on a tray, and then put some silver. You get the silver farak, the sweetmeat decoration. You can add that. This is off. Okay. This is heating up nicely. I'm going to let it come to a boil. Okay, now whilst that's coming to a boil, I want to make up the mixture for the jalebi. So we have limited time here, and we've got to do things quickly. The syrup for the jalebi. The syrup, I brought it in a long tin. Go and get it and come. Okay. I have made the syrup because I needed to use the syrup whilst it was fairly cool to lukewarm. Okay, the other things that go into the jalebi mixture. Now, this is the quick version of the jalebi. I need 2 cups of self-raising flour, and you needn't sift it. 2 tablespoons of rice flour. Rice flour gives it that crispness that you require. If you don't have rice flour at hand, you can use corn flour. And then tartaric acid, 1.5 teaspoons of tartaric acid. I'm just putting everything together. Yellow food color, and this is the food color powder that I'm using. Now, jalebis range from a light lemon color to a deep saffron color. Whatever suits you, you can add. You can actually add it after you've added the water to check if it's a nice deep color. Give it a mix. This is a tablespoonful of ghee. But I'm not going to use the ghee. I'm going to change things around. Can you open this one? I'm going to use palm oil, which is getting very popular now with sweetmeat making and cooking. Just a tablespoonful. Just rub that in. So that all of it, all the flour has got a little bit of the fat that you've chosen to use, and palm oil is much nicer. You don't get the oiliness even if you fry things like puri. Sweetmeats come out actually very nice with palm oil. So I'm going to do the jalebi with that as well. I want palm oil in this. Just take that away. Okay, my syrup is beginning to cook. You'll judge it like that. Once it's still a little bit. Turn down the heat a bit, so it's not cooking on very fierce heat. Okay. It's important to check it from time to time to make sure that it's cooking evenly and the sugar is not sitting in a lump at the base of the pot. So, okay. Back to the jalebi mixture. Now, buttermilk. A tablespoonful of buttermilk. And 1.5 cups of water. At the moment, it still looks very light pink, but as the water goes in, it'll take on the color of the powdered food coloring that I've added. It becomes a nice fluffy batter because of the acid liquid that I've used in buttermilk and the tartaric acid. You getting me the pot for the oil? The pot for the oil. Yeah. Not that, I want this oil. Good. Yeah. Take that oil out, put this oil. Now, you get several types of jalebi molds, ranging from sauce bottles to emptied out canisters, which you make a hole in. And I prefer to use the piping bag, a nice silicone piping bag, fitted with nozzle number 1. Okay? Now, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Okay? That is nicely mixed. Put some more. Right, that's enough. Take it away. Now you can put this on. Okay. Okay, my syrup is now ready, and I'm adding some rose essence. No, we'll use almond because we're making almond barfi. And this is very concentrated, so just add literally 5 or 6 drops. Not too much, otherwise it can become overpowering. Okay, take this off the heat, add the almond powder. That's 3.5 cups, all measured out very nicely for me. Okay. Stir it until it forms a nice mass in the pan. Okay. Back to very low heat. Okay. Now remember that as it cools, it's going to get firmer and firmer. So it'll actually leave the sides of the pan, and then that shows you that it's cooked. Now, ghee, butter, or oil is optional. If you don't want to, you can leave it out completely. Or you can just add just a dribble of it. Where's the pan? I'm just going to take a little bit of this heated one, and just like that, about a teaspoonful, not much. That's it. See, it's left the sides of the pan. Okay, now put that on low, hey? Even moderate. Okay, put this off. Now I'm going to use this mold. I have here almonds, and to make it visually very effective, you can put in some almonds at the base here, because when I turn it out, you will see that it's got like a garland of almonds. I have 2 colors of the almonds, and you can do this very easily yourself. I'm sure many of you do the coloring of the almonds. Now, to this very basic almond barfi mixture, you can add dried fruit to it. Just extend it and give it more variety. Okay. It's got to cool before I serve it to you. So I'm going to send this to a much cooler place than I'm standing in. Got a package in just now. You can actually put it into a larger tray, like a Swiss roll tray. Not a very large one, just enough so that it gives you a 2.5 centimeter depth of the barfi. And let it sit. You can color the top of it with some almonds or some sprinkles. Okay, let's see. Just smoothen it like that. Okay, make sure that it is nice and even, and it will settle a bit more as I leave it. And when you turn it out, so it sits flat on the platter. Now you could do the same using coconut or cashew nuts. It doesn't have to always be almonds. And just decorate it with the appropriate nut. If it's coconut, then color the coconut, and instead of the almonds, just use coconut to decorate it. Now that's our first recipe. I'm just going to leave it here so that it cools, and then I'll turn it out after we've done the jalebi. And I have some here, and it's cool enough to handle a little later. I'm going to mold it. Just leave it here. Okay, in the meantime, let's get this on the go. Can you put this into a glass bowl? And you can use skewers. The people who do it in large vats, the specialized sweet meat makers who work in big karais and vats, in woks, they use actually pieces of plank, and they turn the jalebi. I've seen them work, and it's wonderful to see how the professionals work, and you learn a lot from those people who've been doing it for ages. Can I just hold this? Hold it like that. Okay. I'm just going to here. Just hold it like that. I'm going to fill this fluffy batter into this. Bring it closer. You've got to test the oil for the first one and see that it's just the right temperature. Just start the first one, okay? Some paper towels. They should be in nice, round, springy, coils. Make sure that it's nice and crisp before you attempt to remove it from the pan. Otherwise, they will just wither away in the syrup. Let's get me a platter. How's this doing? Patience is required when you're making sweetmeats. Never rush, because although it's instant, it's called quick jalebi or quick barfi, but not that quick that you can just put it into the pan and take it out. You've got to still cook it for the right time, or the timing has to be correct. And you keep adjusting the temperature of the stove depending on the type of cookware, the cooking range you've got. You can do it on gas or the electric stove, but just keep adjusting the heat so that it's not very, very hot, but moderate to hot, or moderately hot. Now I have here my syrup, which I made earlier just so that it can cool. And this is rose, no, that's almond. This is rose. Again, because it's concentrated, you don't put too much, just a few drops. Okay, we'll just test the first one. when you place it onto your plate, you can actually hear it. You know, it's crisp. You know, now the trend is to do a fusion sweetmeat. You find 2 or 3 types of sweetmeats combined to give you a brand new sweetmeat. Because how many more years can you go making the same thing? You know, you can make a laddu and then encase it with barfi mixture. You can do chana magaj and beat up some cream in it and make it nice and fluffy and do a thing that we call son papri. There are lots of things you can do. If you are interested, then maybe you know, you can watch me do it another time. But today we don't have all that much time to go through many details of sweetmeat making. But I will be at the baking theater doing things. You can come in there and have a look. I'll just take this out very quickly. The syrup is just nice. It should be nice and glossy when you take it out. Okay, let's do a few more. This is a bit of a messy job, but the end is well worth it because you get a nice sweetmeat. Turn this down. Turn it down a bit. Yeah. Normally you would have it that thick. Some people like it much finer and thinner when you're doing little cocktail ones for special birthday party or something and you're serving a whole range of sweetmeats. And you can do little ones much finer and you know, you use a finer nozzle. Now you just swirl it around in the pan. Okay. You must turn it though, although it's deep oil, but you've got to turn it so that it cooks evenly on both sides. Okay, I'd like to see if this is now ready. So let's try. Not quite, still very wet. It's because it's hot. You can try and take that out. You can see it's still quite hot, but let's see. That is the idea, which is the red one. You can actually make this and leave it for several days. Just flatten that nicely. It's still very hot. I'm trying to rush it because we don't have all that much time. Turn it up. Moderate. Give me another plate like that. Okay, can you see? That is the idea. Now, once it's cooled off completely, it'll be nice and firm. And as I said, if you want to make it into a larger, you know, just put it into a flat tray and then cut it up. Dunk that into the syrup and take it out. Make sure that all the syrup drains. A good idea is, if you have some wooden skewers, to push it through like that and rest it on the bowl, you know, so the syrup drips back. Okay, let's take this out. Okay, I don't think we have much time left. How are we doing for time? Now, if you want to be really fancy, you can give this a bit of color as well. Normally, you would put in something savory like sev. I'm just putting in some almonds. This is cardamom. Just a sprinkling of cardamom. Ladies and gentlemen, those are my 2 sweetmeats. Thank you very much for joining me.
Thanks, Asha. Yum, yum, yum. Now, if you want to have a chat to Asha about more of these wonderful dishes and find out what else she's got to offer, she's on the Malaysia
Palm oil.
palm oil, huh?
Yes, Malaysian palm oil.
Malaysia palm oil
Council.
stand. So you can have a chat to her there. Do any of you have any questions? No, you all happy? Now, amongst the younger generation, because I don't know if the older generation's heard of him, who of you have heard of Jay? He's a singer in a band. Yeah, a couple of you. Yeah, it's kind of an unknown band in this country. Yeah, it's my Posy or something. Oh no, wait, it's Mikasa. Jay's up next. Ladies and gents, thanks very much for joining us. Once again, a nice big hand for Asha. A big hand as well for our sponsors, Durban Tourism, the Oyster Box Spa, Robertson Defy, and the other wonderful names on the list there. If you wouldn't mind exiting the theatre so we can get it ready for Jay. If you want to come back for his show, get to CompuTicket. Get your complimentary tickets and join the queue. Thank you very much.
If you have any questions, I will be at the palm oil stand, and I will be also at the baking stand a little later on. Just look at the program details and come. I'm going to be at the baking stand at 14:45, 2:45. How are you, Mrs. Swadik?